Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Hey everybody, we back again.
Hey, we're back and we're live.
I'm your host, Spencer. And of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Nas.
Nas. Dr. Nas. I'm tired.
Thanks for letting everybody know. Remember, don't take us too seriously.
Hard to? It's completely up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to wrap those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. So today we are going to do a little bit of a throwback to the show Boston Legal. This show came out in what, like 2004, 2005, something like that. And it was on for a very long time, 5 seasons, which was pretty good. Also starred the great James Spader. But yeah, the show follows this law office in Boston, and it just follows how they have some wacky cases and they just have some wacky lawyers along with it. But it also has some very good and deep moments as well, very social, climatey moments as well. And it's one of my favorite shows of all time, not only because of James Spader, but just the writing and just how they've really made sure to mix in comedy and drama with this legal firm. And so it's definitely one of my favorite shows of all time. And after we're done here, you should definitely check it out. But some topics that we're talking about this character named Jerry, who has autism. He finds out later on that he has autism, but he has autism. They also, the people at the law office call him Hands because he keeps his hands down by his sides at all times. And then he also has some like verbal tics, depending on what's kind of happening. In one of the clips, he's like clippity clap for someone typing.
He did say that. Bingo.
Yeah. And so we're going to be talking about autism as well as being in a workplace and having autism, what that means as someone who has autism working in a place like that, or as the employers, and what that means to them and what they can kind of do to not only take advantage of people who have autism, people who have a disability, which is kind of gross once you kind of say it like that. But then also just the fact that you may not be able to move up in your career because you may not have the social skills that some others may have, even though you are working harder. It happens. So with that, Nas, anything before we get into it?
Yeah, it's going to be a really good conversation for a lot of folks out in the workforce. So instead of talking just random stuff about autism, this or that, relationships, all workforce-based things, workforce trauma, what it is to be neglected, to be pushed over, to be bullied, to be used, right? And then I think a big thing we'll talk about is advocacy and how to have someone to advocate for you, but also the shame. I think it's really cool, really poignant is maybe is the right word. Poignant. Yeah, there's that. Spence brought this today amidst all this autism stuff that's going on with RFK and all that. And right, and so I'm not getting fucking diagnosed. I just read a text from someone, Spence, I was telling you about, and they said, they don't want to get fully assessed because of all the shit in the world. And so, maybe there's a lot of scared and propaganda going on, but valid. Is what we talked about on the pod is do you or do you not tell people that you're autistic? So Be a good conversation today. A little trigger warning for a lot of folks that deal with a lot of this stuff or that have dealt with like this outcasting. This is going to kind of be a fucked up episode. Magnificent episode, and shows you the real other side of like autism, not that nice stuff. The side on how people do dislike us or maybe look down upon us or do maybe hold us less than them. So it could be a little triggering like that. That's all. I know I felt in my emotions a couple times. So let's get into it. Let's talk about some real shit today. Real shit. All right. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
That reveals my involvement is typically the key variable in the firm's winning a case. Bingo. It was my research that was the determining factor in the Simmons versus Arago oil victory, not to mention 252 other cases because of my research. Bingo. But still, I wonder whether the senior partners are aware of my contributions.
Jerry, you know I have a tremendous affection for my own intelligence, and even I think you are smarter than me.
Oh, I am.
I'll see what I can find out.
Jerry Espenson? You mean Hans? Not a chance. He's a weirdo.
Denny, he's not a weirdo, and he doesn't like to be called Hans.
How could you not? The Hans.
A peccadillo, to be sure. We all have them.
I don't have any peccadillos.
What's your name, Denny?
Denny Crane.
Ah, yes. My point is, Jerry Espenson deserves to be made a partner. Would you at least let me have a glance at his performance review, then?
It's highly confidential. Just don't tell anybody where you got it.
It's not looking like a lock.
What's the problem?
Generally, it's poor people skills.
You mean I'm odd? Does it say in my file I'm odd?
No.
Alan, I would appreciate candor here, even should you deem it hurtful.
According to your file, you've occasioned clients to feel uncomfortable. Some have even expressed reservations about being alone with you. Evidently, you also once pushed opposing counsel over some dispute.
He made fun of me. As conditioned as I've become to ridicule, sometimes... So I'm out.
It's not over.
Now, I deserve this more than Brad Chase. He cuts off a priest's fingers, and I'll lose out because I push a bully? It's not right.
It's not over. Jerry, I give you my word. I'll do what I can.
Hi, Brad.
Hey, Jerry, how's it going?
Oh, a little nervous about that partner thing. You
I can't say I'm not.
got any indication?
Not really. Paul seems to think it looks good, but I certainly didn't help my chances.
Lewiston, you said that it looks good for you?
Well, he couldn't make any promises.
Did you mention how it looks for me?
No, we didn't really discuss you.
Do you ever?
I beg your pardon?
Do people discuss me? Do they talk about me being odd because of my behavior?
Jerry, everyone here knows you to be a fine lawyer. That's all I've ever heard discussed.
It's in my file that I'm violent because I pushed another lawyer once.
How do you know it's in your file?
I have a mole. Right here on my neck. It's not like me to make a joke. I hope it's in my file I'm funny. That's a good social skill.
Excuse me.
Sorry to interrupt. I have an urgent announcement to make regarding national security. I don't think our country is being run very well. That concludes the national security announcement. Now, on to other business. I'm looking at a group of partners in a world-class law firm, each of whom owes some of their success to Jerry Espenson. When any of you is stumped, and you need someone who has an encyclopedic knowledge of the law and the creative spark to know how to apply it, whose door do you knock on?
Mr. Shore, we appreciate your input, but you are not a partner.
Yes, but that's only because I can't be trusted. I have here the confidential report on Jerry Espenson, known to some of you who should know better as Hans. this report, while acknowledging that Jerry works very hard and has an astute legal mind, also makes some veiled references to inappropriate behavior. But really, this is about money, isn't it? And whether Jerry Espenson brings in enough. And don't we all just love our money? You people must realize that once the rainmakers have brought in the $1 million accounts, those clients expect excellent representation for their money. And Jerry is a big part of what they're paying for. My God, why isn't being brilliant enough? Why can't a lawyer be a valuable asset to this firm without being a smiling Ken doll with an aggressive handshake? Does everyone at the firm have to be this guy?
Mr. Shore, you have no standing at this meeting. We would like to ask you to leave, please, now.
Jerry Espenson has given 15 years of his life to this firm. His work has been essential.
How dare you invade the province of a private partnership meeting?
I'm sorry, I didn't think an invitation was forthcoming.
There's a lot you don't know about the business of running a law practice, Alan. The first rule—
It's a business. I understand that, Shirley. But it's a service business. You don't peddle widgets. You don't push stocks. You sell your people. And as far as your people go, I'll take Jerry Espenson over. Well, you need to hear it. I said nothing when you fired Sally Heap, whose only infraction was to sleep with me. I made not a peep when you deftly ushered Lori Colson out of the firm. I even understood when you fired Catherine Piper, a woman I profoundly adore. I swallowed all of it because I know it's a business. But to abuse a talented, selfless employee only because his social skills lack polish, to allow him to work tirelessly under the delusion that he could make partner, a delusion you carefully nurtured so as to make piles of money off him in the short term, that's a betrayal, Shirley. Not just of Jerry, but of you and your character, which up till now I have considered undeniably decent.
Are you finished?
No. Jerry Espenson, no doubt, will go off quietly into the night, as the meek often do. But somebody around here has to get angry about it. Otherwise, he'll just go off and blithely do it again.
We have not yet made a decision concerning Jerry Espenson. When we do, I will call you first to tell you it is none of your concern.
There's a saying, Shirley, perhaps you've heard it. All it takes for evil to succeed is for good people to say, it's a business.
Where is my coffee mug?
Surprise! Oh no! Look at that!
No, enough is not enough. It's not enough.
My initials on the briefcase. Nice touch. Jerry, why don't you come on in, have a piece of cake? Yeah, I'll get it for you.
No, I can do it.
Okay.
How's that, Shirley? Is that enough? How about that? Is that enough? Is that?
Look, Jerry.
Everybody stand back! I'll kill her! I swear I will kill her! I want to be made partner. I'm going to draw up an agreement, and you're going to sign it, Shirley. We'll include a hold harmless clause for this assault.
But this is a crime. Hold harmless clauses are for insurance and real estate, not for crime.
Don't say crime, we're just talking here.
It certainly won't cover attempted murder.
Don't say murder.
You, substandard first year, go pull the criminal law treatise at 22 ALR 3rd 1228. Reference cases that hold extreme emotional conditions diminish one's responsibility for a crime. You! What do you think you're doing? Going to get one of your guns?
No, why would I do that? The one day I don't wear my sock holster.
You, substandard partner. Get me Rosenberg versus Kaplan. 273, Mass 411. The facts of that case can be construed to uphold an employment contract even though it's entered into under duress. Yo! Hot secretary, that makes me nervous. Get me a copy of the firm's partnership agreement and prepare to make some changes.
Jerry, this is never gonna work.
Pipe down.
Don't stand. Go.
Get my guns.
I'm calling the police.
Which gun should I get?
No guns! Just look at the damn cases.
Subsection 1, upon his or her motion, a named partner may unilaterally reconsider the rejection of a senior associate for partnership. Did you get all that?
Yes, Jerry.
Please type it up. Clackety clack.
What's going on?
Hands went nuts. I found the cases you wanted. They're excellent.
Thank you.
Jerry, what are you doing?
Taking matters into my own hands. That's right, people. I said hands. See, I can be just as funny as you jokesters. Why aren't you all laughing?
Don't do this, Jerry. Please stop now before this gets too out of hand. Control. I will help you.
Like you did with the partnership?
You don't want to throw away an entire life's worth of work over one emotional outburst. I don't want to see the most gifted legal mind I have ever encountered rotting in a prison cell. Now put down the knife, Jerry.
On one condition. You represent me once I'm arrested.
I can't. That's a conflict of interest.
I don't care. You know the firm can waive that conflict, and I know that you'll honor that waiver because if nothing else, you're a man of your word.
Make the deal.
I'll represent you. Now hand me the knife.
Everyone, this is the cake I want for my birthday.
This is really good work. I assume it's clear to you now why we couldn't make Jerry partner.
I have to be with my client. Jerry?
It's a relief, actually.
You think?
I always hated that I couldn't be normal. Turns out.
So this is where he
Because
finds
I'm
out
not.
he has autism.
Jerry, it's also a viable defense. We just need the psychiatrist to give you a diagnosis.
Oh, no.
Jerry, without a clinical diagnosis.
With a diagnosis in court, it'll be a matter of public record. I will be the autistic lawyer. Forget about disbarment. No one will ever hire a mental case.
Jerry, listen.
No, then I certainly could never be a lawyer again. No.
Asperger's syndrome.
What?
I wasn't familiar with it either, but these three highly regarded psychiatrists have heard of it, and they're all convinced Jerry Espenson suffers from it.
It doesn't change anything.
It actually changes a lot. According to the Americans with Disabilities Act, it changes Jerry Espenson from an oddball who attacked his boss to a man who has suffered his whole life from a form of behavioral autism. It also changes your case from a winner to a loser.
What are you looking for?
Dismiss the charges.
No.
There's no reason to prosecute this man. Surely you must have something to say about this.
I do. I'm sorry Jerry has autism. It explains a lot. But what's to stop him from doing it again? From attacking someone else? Or worse?
Because he wants to get better.
There's medications that can help control his outbursts. Behavioral therapy to rehabilitate his social skills. Occupational therapy for his tics. It's what's fair and what's right. Would you excuse us, please? Surely in the time that I've known you, I've never seen you do what you're doing now. You said to me at the outset you were looking for justice. Jerry Espenson has been suffering needlessly his entire life. Now he has a chance to find a measure of peace. That's justice, Shirley, isn't it?
You'll get him help?
My word.
It's over? It is.
Jerry, it's best you leave now. Shirley's largesse will only go so far.
I want to, Goodbye, Alan.
Hey everyone, have you been looking for something to help you when you feel extra fidgety? How about when you have a sensory overload? Well, I'm here to introduce you to the Oh No Fidget Roller. It helps me regulate and also feel at ease. The Oh No Roller comes in 5 different materials, including plastic, aluminum, steel, titanium, and silicone. You can use our code DSP10 to get 10% off your order when you visit onoroller.com and get your roll on. All right, and we're back again.
We're back. We're back and we're live. Just like mad cow disease. It's still affecting many people. Back. It was affecting me. Infected.
Yeah. Beef industry doesn't want to talk.
Yep, that is what they don't want to about, you know.
Gone away.
About the beef chops.
That's right. Stop eating beef, people.
But
It doesn't matter. Fucking fish is all contaminated. It's got mercury and shit in it.
oh my
Fucking
God, Spence.
Can't eat nothing.
My dad said that he was watching his fucking news video or something like that on the news and said the guy was super happy, went to the fish market, got his salmon. This is gonna be gross. And right, he was cooking it right, massaging it, oiling it up and shit. And one of them motherfucking maggots shot out of that bitch, one of them worms.
I see those posts all the time.
Yep.
And I'm just like, when did you fucking buy that shit?
I know.
Like, okay, maybe it was brand new and
Maybe.
like maybe there was maybe, but
It's a worm.
I have a hard time believing that.
I
Like,
don't know. Yep.
I don't know.
The fucked
I
up
don't know.
thing is Pops was like dry heaving in the car, and I said, you know what? We should buy some salmon. I ain't eating that shit. We had salmon like 2 days later, but he ate all the shit. Yeah.
You got to.
You got to. All right. That was a random tangent.
Yeah. But back to the main topic of the day.
Tism.
Yeah. Of course.
The Boston tism.
So like I said before, Boston Legal follows this firm called Crane, Poole, and Schmidt. And it just deals with often high-priced world of civil litigation where smarmy Alan Shore feels at home. Loose cannon Danny Crane has the run of the place while other members of the firm try, with often dismissal results, dismal, to keep him in check. So the main focus of the show is definitely going to be James Spader and then also William Shatner. They both are like the outcasts of this law firm. They're the weirdos, right? Danny Crane, he's very outspoken. He's a playboy. He has guns. He's conservative. while Alan Shore is a lot more progressive, and he's also a very just poignant speaker when it comes to any type of just case that he has. Um, Anytime in the show, at least one time in I think every episode, maybe a few that there weren't, Alan Shore always ends like with like the long speech that really takes the whole case home, and then he wins the case. Usually he wins the case.
Yes.
There are some episodes where he doesn't win the case, but he usually wins the cases.
White man always wins.
Of course. Yeah, because there are a ton of black lawyers in the show.
Yeah, I didn't see one fucking brown person in this. Is there a couple?
There's a few. There's not many.
They're
Let me be
probably-
honest with you.
They're probably
not
drug
many.
dealers.
Very few. Actually, one of the guys, Gary Anthony Williams, who plays what's his face from the Boondocks? Uncle Ruckus.
Oh my
He's
god.
in there. He's in there for a few seasons.
Okay.
And then also Kerry Washington. They just have like a whole, like I can name off like
I think I remember her being there. Yeah, there's a lot in there.
There are a lot. There are a lot of celebrities. I mean, Taraji P. Henson, Tom Selleck, Michael J. Fox, just a whole bunch of.
There was a white lady from Modern Family, whatever her name is.
Exactly. Rona Mitra, who played in the Underworld movies as well, was in there too for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, a bunch of celebrities and things like that, and just a great show overall. Now, the character that we're mainly speaking about today, Jerry, was introduced, I believe, in the second season, which we're currently in, and he is a character who they call hands, right?
We get a little
I
handsy.
mentioned this before. They called hands because every time you see him, he has his hands on his legs, no matter what. Always has his hands on his legs. And this was before autism was as big as it was now. So if you wanted to get a diagnosis of autism, you would have to go to a very, very minor like specialist.
Yeah, very
'cause there probably
specific
weren't-
specialist. Yeah.
Sorry, specific.
Yeah.
And they did not have a lot of those back then. So you really had to pay a lot of money to do that. And so the first scene that we watch, Jerry, he wants to be a partner for Crane, Poole, and Schmidt. But he's running into, and this is actually, it's not only that, but this is the last time that he can actually become a partner. The last year.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes.
This
This is the last year. That's why he's pushing so hard.
Got it.
Because this is the last time he can actually be a partner. And he's not understanding why. He knows that he has quirks, but he's not really understanding why he is not being chosen for this position.
Hell back. Yeah.
And he goes to Alan, who is very outspoken, who goes against the grain of like the whole law firm. And he just wants to have answers. And so he goes to Alan, and I like this part because not all the time we get to have advocates, but when we do have advocates for our side, especially when they're in the same industry / business company, it can really help us out and give us a voice, especially for those who aren't listened to. And so now, since Jerry isn't being listened to by anybody, he goes to Alan because he knows that people will listen to him, and he has a very loud voice.
They respect him. Yep.
Yes. They respect him, but at the same time, they're also like,
he's a piece of
Alan,
shit.
You're kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
He
he's
got
not
that-
a partner either.
No,
you know?
he got the house vibe. He kind of got the asshole house vibe.
Got an asshole vibe, definitely. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking specifically about autism in the workplace. So you work with, especially in the past, you've worked with a lot of students, people who haven't gotten jobs yet, but they want to. What was your advice to some of your students who are going into the workforce, who have autism, that may not be outspoken, that may not have an advocate for them. Like, what was your advice for some of those people or some of those students that you had?
If they're more like this guy, where the social skills are a little lacking, it's a lot of practicing the interview skills, in which me and you've talked about on our own stuff. It's about making sure they're going calm and cool and collected and regulating themselves before the interviews, and making sure that they're doing it with follow-ups afterwards to see if they can get some advice from talking to. Same shit that I preach for myself. One of the biggest things is don't get down on yourselves. Don't get down on yourself. Don't get down on yourself. Don't tweak out. Don't tweak out. Also have your little care package if it's in person. So do you need to take a little thing to stim with in your pocket? Do you need to make sure that your cologne or lotion is good? That way you can smell it. Do you need to have a mint or a cough drop in? So I'm making sure they got little small things, because we're not talking like low support needs type vibe. We're talking like, mid to moderate needs, right? There's some social dysfunction regulation. I got a lot of those on my caseload right now. And so being able to regulate and calm, to not fucking white out in a conversation and just be yapping about random shit, right? They got to be on tasks. It's a lot about reading the room, doing their best. You try to get in some of those micro expressions that other people are giving off. It's a lot of different things, Spence. The biggest thing is ground yourself, and then seek consultation as much as possible consultation.
Nice. Yeah. And along with that, I would also have to say, just make sure that, you're prepared. I mean, a lot of times when we think about just job interviews, we're like, I'll just rattle off all the things I have on my resume, and never comes up. They never ask those. Like, sometimes they ask some of those questions. They ask like, hey, tell us about you and like what you've done in your experience. But they also ask those other questions. What can you bring to our company? How can you make us more money? How can you get us to another level? And a lot of the times we don't think about those questions. We think about like, oh, I've already done this. Okay, so what are you going to do for us in the future? I don't know. I never thought about it. And then that's when we get choked up, and then we start rattling off
random stuff,
random bullshit. And then they're like, nope.
And then the stuttering happens, and then you start losing it. And next thing you know, you're like full crash out. Practice, ground. I'm all for using ChatGPT to help you research the place and possible questions for that field. It's a lot of different things going into the workforce. Scary time to be going into the workforce, man. Scary time.
So for a second, let's pause for a second.
Go ahead.
With the use of AI, a lot of people want to use it as a crutch and things like that, which I understand. I understand why they don't want that.
Yep.
But it's also a helpful tool for those who just know what they want to say, but they just can't express it. And I think that's a great thing to use, honestly. It's like sometimes I know exactly what I want to say, but my mind goes in like 80 different places, and sometimes I just can't nail down what I want to say.
Yep.
And so, hey, I've used ChatGPT to be like, write this out for me, and it does it quick. I don't have to think about it anymore. Boom, done.
Yeah. I had a client actually kind of crash out on me the other day, Spence, about like, and I agree with all of his statements that, it's using a ton of energy, it's using a ton of water, this and that, right? And I was like, I get that argument. I 100% get it. And also, so many people are using it. I'm not just strictly advising using it, but for folks with disabilities. So you can use all the other shit you want, but as soon as it comes to me being disabled, no, don't use that. If not for ChatGPT and AI to help me write and read, I would not have this entire practice. I would not have a PhD. I wouldn't. Fact. Me and you would not have this podcast running as efficiently as it is right now. Well, I wouldn't. My wording is bad. The thoughts and feelings and all that, the things that we've filled out, the contracts that we've done, the trademark filled out. Like, there's so much where AI had to help me write things. The intelligence is there. And so I have clients that suck at email, Spence.
Yeah.
that can't write. I had a client today call me, or no, I called them. I was like, hey, we're not going to do this via email because I need to talk to you. So I call them up.
Right.
They said, Nas, can you write this up for me? I said, honey, I can't write this up for you.
Yeah.
Normally I do. And I'll send people things to send to the doctors, this and that. But this was a very specific thing that I didn't want to put on the internet and send via email. Very crucial information. I said, so write this down, have ChatGPT clean it up for you, send it. I have clients that send me, I have a client that just texted me now. Say, hey man, do you mind if I send you this application stuff for grad school and run it by you? I said, sure. I'll run it by you. You know, I might not be able to write, motherfucker, but I sure can read and I know if something's good or not.
Yeah.
So AI, I'm a fan of it. Grammarly all throughout grad school. That's AI. ChatGPT helps me write, focus, do my notes, create things for documents for security and HIPAA compliance. I'm for it. I get some of the bad things about it. I get that it's taking a lot of information and going to end up taking jobs. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
And also I need to live and I need to support others and I need to help others not die.
Yeah.
And this is a sacrifice that I believe that I have to make. And if people hate me for it, I told the client, I say, hey, guy, I'm not going to quit. I can't. You're more than welcome to find another therapist, my guy. Good luck finding another Arab. Good luck finding another Arab that you fuck with. Just saying.
Yeah.
They're staying with me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And get you a white lady, motherfucker. You can get one. Go ahead, Spence.
There are plenty out there.
There are plenty out there.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people who have challenges just even doing health insurance.
Yeah.
Health insurance. It's not an easy thing to do.
It's not. To fill it out.
You have to know the verbiage. You have to know what you're signing up for. And it's hard to do. And sometimes you don't have people to help you walk you through those things.
Come on, man.
And so using AI to be like, hey, what's the best
choice
version
plan?
of healthcare? Yeah, what's the best plan that I need to get healthcare? And it'll be like, oh, pick this one. These are for your needs.
Yep.
All right, there you go. I'm like, oh, that's easy, simple, 2 seconds, boom.
I agree. I see a lot of people on the internet, Spence. You know, a lot of therapists, ChatGPT, you shouldn't be using that for your therapy. I've had clients that use it when they can't talk to me at the school because it's once every 4 fucking weeks. And it actually did a pretty good job talking to some of my kids. It really did. Like, it was spot on. And they would send me the screenshots of the conversation so I could go over it.
Okay.
They would, right? And they were saying some wild shit, but ChatGPT was locked in. I'm like, all right. Hey, man, what are you going to do? People can't afford the shit. People can't travel to the shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you're using the tool for good reasons, I get the environment stuff. I get the data collection shit.
Yeah.
They already collected all your data anyways. They already, I mean, it's going to happen.
That doesn't matter. Literally, Google has been, it's hilarious because Google talks about how, like, oh yeah, don't use ChatGPT. I'm like, A, you have your own AI
Gemini
service they choose. And then B, you've been collecting data
for years,
however fucking long now.
Forever.
They were like, yeah, we'll get rid of cookies. That's it. We're getting rid of cookies. They never did it because why would they?
No.
They have no plan to do that.
Motherfucker, we all got diabetes. They keep giving us cookies, motherfuckers.
Chocolate chip.
Y'all like, yeah. I love the macadamia ones though. I don't even know what a macadamia is. I love that shit.
I'll be honest with you. I had this Dolce de Leche Milano cookies.
Man,
fucking bomb of shit. It was like coffee, caramel, and then it was like macadamia or something, or white chocolate in there.
Me some mulatto women too, you know. Mulatto.
Pepperidge Farm. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Anyways, next scene.
Well, wait a minute. That scene.
What?
That first scene. Sorry. So that was a really good pivot about AI. Helps a lot of people with jobs, all that stuff. Yeah, awesome. Love it. Do your thing. Go get your fucking money. Help yourself out. In this scene, he talks about, he gives them that contract and all that shit in this scene, right? And he said, what do? They call me Hands. Isn't that this scene? This is it. So this is a very good scene to see how shamed he is in the office and how much they shit on him. Well, it says this or that, right? And I got no social skills. And it's like, hey man, you had some fucking outbursts and you had some other shit that was kind of concerning.
That was actually hilarious.
Oh, that's a different scene. Okay. So this is the one where he says, I'm the badass that does all the good research. I deserve the promotion. Correct. So he's trying to advocate how good his mind is. So this was the scene. I love it because he's like, motherfucker, I'm smart. I won 529 fucking cases for these fuckers.
Yeah.
He remembers the cases. I love it.
Of course he does.
He said the statistically algorithm based on all the cases we've done, I'm the biggest part of it. I love that. I did that at the office, Spence, in my performance review, and then fuckers still shit on me. They still shit on me. It is what it is.
Okay.
Let's keep it moving.
Yeah. In the next scene, it's Alan talking with Denny Crane. And he wants to get the file from Danny Crane because he wants to know exactly what's
in it.
Yeah, what's happening, what's in it, what are they saying about him behind his back. And of course Danny Crane's like, look, don't tell anybody I gave you this. All right, don't do it. And everybody, of course, already knows because that's his homeboy. So why wouldn't he give it to him? But he's also being, once again, he's being Jerry's advocate, right? He didn't just say he was going to do something and not do it. He actually went out of his way, talked to somebody whose name is on the door and wants to make sure that Jerry gets his fair shake when it comes to being a partner. Because this is the last time he's actually able to be a partner at
law firm. Yeah.
At the law firm. And so I like this scene because we don't always, like I said, have those advocates in our lives. And I feel like Alan is such a outspoken person that he will get shit done for you, even if it goes against all the odds that it will actually happen. And even Denny Crane is like, he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
And that's and I like that about Denny Crane because he's
being real.
He speaks how it is. He's like, we all think he's a weirdo, while everybody else is just like, no, it's, he just doesn't have the social skills, aka he's a weirdo.
Yep.
When they say that, they're being PC and they're telling you you're a weirdo, you're different, you're not going to be the same as us. Once they say those certain terms that that code that they have for saying you're never gonna be like us, just so you know. And I think that's a conversation that I know that businesses will never have that conversation with people, but a lot of the times when we want that criticism about what we do, say for instance, when I don't get a job, I don't want to hear, well, we just went into a different direction. What the fuck does that even mean? What direction? How do I get better? How do I get better?
What did I do wrong?
Tell me.
Yep.
Or that.
I got clients that do this, Spence, and it's not just jobs, it's internships, it's relationships, it's trying to be a friend. And, what did I do wrong? Do you even know why they broke up? Do you even know why they don't want to hang up? And all my clients, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And like, why didn't you used to have friends? I don't know. Why? Because they would never come up. I did. They would never happened. And I don't know what is so horrible with me. What is so grotesque about me that I can't even hang out with these? It's a horrible place to be, the rejected place.
Yeah.
And Denny Crane, it was interesting, Spence. He said, I thought he said the rain man, but he said the rain maker. So he's not making a rain. Spence said this in the pre-production that he's not bringing in enough money. So maybe it's the social skills, but I bet you if he was bringing in more money, then maybe they could override some of those social idiosyncrasies, maybe, right? But since he's not bringing enough and he's weird, it's not enough.
I think it's also the fact that, and we learn later on, obviously, that like they find him weird, but he's getting everything done. And I am so curious about that money part because he gets the cases done.
Yep.
He gets them done. So it's like, does that mean that, when they have like, charities or anything like that, he's just not schmoozing enough? He's not being as charismatic as these other guys. And so they're like, we'll stick with you.
So I don't think he's getting enough of the cases when it comes to like them hiring right off. But when it comes to the underwriting and doing all the research, then he's the one that maintains the cases. So they're just saying you're not bringing in, you're not selling the cars, but I'm the one that does all the work that keeps people at the firm.
Yeah.
So that's what, we end up seeing in a later moment where homeboy ends up saying, hey man, this motherfucker's doing a lot.
Yeah.
This is who you go to, right? That encyclopedia.
Mm-hmm.
It's being undervalued and devalued because he's not bringing in high profile cases, because he's not smoozer enough, which we'll get to the next scene.
Right.
Interesting thing about this scene is he's like, hands, right? He calls him hands again. He's like, wait a minute. You got weird peccadillos too. And he's like, no, I don't. He said, well, it was something about your name, Denny Graham, right? Yeah. So he always says his name in that weird way. Yeah, so a lot of people got these interesting peccadillos. I would say the Spader guy, he comes off very autistic as well in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Denny comes off very ADHD.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing also, is that they went really out of their way to make Jerry look like autistic, like very autistic. While I think if it was made nowadays, I think Alan would definitely be autistic.
Yeah,
they would definitely say he's autistic.
He's definitely autistic coded. And then you got Jerry, which is more moderate autism that you're seeing, right? And we use very autistic, right? Because we're like talking shit, but he comes off way more autistic than the other, but both of them are equally autistic. Just different interesting things. But this is what it looks like in the real world, my guy. This is what it looks like. It's not all that shit you see on TV, right? This is like the real shit, the Jerry guy.
The good autism.
Yeah. The way...
The good autistics.
I'm telling you, the hands thing, I told Spence, I had a client that always had their hands on their legs, man. That was a real thing. And that's how I was like, I think you're autistic. Kid's like, no, you're not. I'm like, you ever heard of Denny Crane?
Denny Crane.
The kid's like, what the fuck are you talking about, you millennial?
No, 2004. I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, they probably weren't. But yeah, let's get to the next thing, because this is where it really starts to heat up.
Yes. So, obviously, Alan gets the folder, tells all about Jerry's outbursts and his history and why he's not being a partner, essentially. And so they have this conversation, him and Jerry, and Jerry just doesn't understand, and Alan tries to explain, like, you're not bringing in enough money, and also you've had outbursts where people don't even want to be in the same room as you.
Yikes.
That's
tough.
Yeah, which he explains somebody was being a bully, and so he pushed them.
Yeah, that was a different thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a different incident, but it was also one of those things in his file that says why he's not going to be promoted, because he has outbursts.
Yep.
And so
blew up on somebody.
Yeah. And as somebody who's also had some outbursts at the workplace, because I don't like how people are sometimes because they want to act a certain way. I get Jerry's point of view, because we've all had, like, I've had that moment where you're saying something to somebody, but they're not listening to it. So the only way that they can hear you is through you being louder, you being more aggressive. And unfortunately, that's how I try to solve those problems, but it just made me look like I was fucking a psychopath. And so, I've learned from that. My outbursts are way less now, but at this, I understand Jerry, and especially if you're getting bullied, because sometimes people don't see the secondary action. They only see the first. They only see the secondary.
They don't see the first.
They don't see the first.
Yeah.
Because somebody could be an asshole to you, and then you go, what the fuck? And they see that.
And you get caught, and then you're now the troublemaker. That's where the flag comes in.
Yes. And so I understand Jerry in that aspect. He took it to a whole other realm in the later scene that we'll watch. But I do get Jerry's point of view.
He said he couldn't take it anymore, Spence. He said, hey man, I put up with a lot of shit. I put up with shit I hear everything you guys saying. I know and you can be like, oh, you're paranoid. No. I put up with a lot of bullying throughout life, he says.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes it's just too damn much. Sometimes someone goes too far. Someone said something too stupid to him, overwhelmed him, and he popped. And he pushed that individual, right? And you can tell for him that doesn't show a lot of emotion throughout the entire episodes you showed me, says clips you showed me. Even at the very end, not a lot of emotion, Spencer. Like he wanted to sit, like it would have been a time for him to hug the other guy, right? To tear up, and then he just leaves.
Yeah.
And that was an emotional moment because that's very true to like a lot of autistic folks. It's just not a lot, but that just that little bit is a lot. And he must have been infuriated. People may feel uncomfortable with him because of his straightforwardness. Maybe he feels awkward in his body, so that makes them feel awkward in their body. You see in other scenes where we'll talk about it, he gets his body, he's a little bit too close to people and right on them, right? It's a lot of stuff. And a lot of neurotypicals could be like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
And uncomfortable. It's got to suck. I can't, as we get into these other episodes, like you said, Spencer's layered it to where it just gets better and better and better. I know a lot of you feel like this. I would love for you to know. Thank you for the comments that we get on Spotify and on the clips on Instagram. What were those moments when you were like, I wonder what the file says on me? If there is imaginary file, I wonder what you think the file says. You say they're inappropriate, it says they're weird, unkempt, not friendly, not sociable enough, super stoic, too much of something. I wonder what you think that file says and why people judge you. Me and Spencer already know what our files are. But I wonder what y'all think. So let us know in the comments what you think.
Sir.
Keep it
All right.
moving.
All right. Next scene, Jerry actually goes up to Brad, who is up for a partner. I don't even think Brad's been there that long. He definitely has not been there 15 years, like Jerry has. And so he's up for it, and he's going to get it. And he's pretty much just, Jerry is going up to him, just being like, so what have you heard? What's going on here? And of course, Brad's like, we pretty much got this in the bag. He brings up that he knows what's in his file, Jerry. And Brad's like, how do you know what's in your file? He was like, I have a mole. See, I have a mole right here. Right here. I have a mole. Jokes. Well, that'll help me be social. And then he walks away. This scene really gets to how Jerry is. Like he's right up on Brad. And of course, Brad's just like pays him no mind because A, he's used to him, and then B, he's also just like, he's not gonna like. Some people may find it like, especially when you're getting that up close to somebody, like you're trying to intimidate them.
Yep.
Right. And with Brad, he's in the military. He's probably been an athlete. He's not intimidated like that. The only person that actually intimidates him is Alan Shore, because he's just so fucking catty.
Yep.
And also he's very smart. He outsmarts like a lot of people.
Yep.
And so you had a story about how somebody you were working with said that they wanted the patient to have more jokes and be a little bit more sarcastic.
Yes.
And things like that. You explain that, and like, why is that probably not the best strategy?
It was interesting
for somebody.
Yeah, man. It was actually I sent someone to get an autism assessment, which I've done a million times. And in this one, though, it talked about certain things to work on. And maybe my client said specific things, but they put down certain things I felt that were kind of like hurtful. And this is a good person. I know who did the test, right? And I trust them. I've talked to them, consulted with them before. But it put down, right, needs to work on eye contact. And me and the kid read it off. He's like, why? Like, no, I don't want to work on that. I was like, I don't know if we need to. He has friends. He's socializing, good community, right? Gets along at work. But in there, it talked also about social skills, interpersonal skills, reciprocity, and dialogue. My client's not a yapper. They're not someone that just overrides everyone. It says understanding jokes and like sarcasm. My client understands jokes. We're joking around all the time. They may not react to those jokes like everyone else, but they understand them.
Right.
My client's also not very jokey. And so maybe the file wants me to have them a more peppy, jovial mood. I feel like it'd be interesting to consult about this case that I got recently about this test, but social skills are one thing. I got a lot of clients that want to work on social skills.
Right.
Or modifying their behavior on others like him, right? He gets really close to Brad. He's kind of up on him. He seems almost neurotic. So a lot of autistic folks will seem neurotic, very obsessive, very OCD, right? Women will maybe more present like this more often, where they're like helicoptery, very anxious, very hovery. This isn't all autistics. I'm just saying this is a presentation of some. And then we see him make this joke. And we had Rebecca on when we talked about the accountant, and we talked about how sometimes we put our foot in our mouth. And so he knows that he said something inappropriate because he doesn't like to lie and he's just saying the truth. But then he's like, oh shit, I'm gonna get Spade. What's the guy? Alan in trouble. Yeah. And he doesn't want to get, and then he makes the mole joke. It's on my neck, right? And he's like, social skills. Yeah, social skills. That scene was very relatable. You say something stupid, you try to backpedal out of it, and then you just think about how fucking stupid you are for the next 32 days. And how much you suck, and how much you're not normal, and how much you're always going to say dumb shit. And so that little social interaction spent, so I wanted to keep that in there.
Mm-hmm.
That will ruin someone's day, week, month. Because it's more proof that they suck. It's more proof that they're not funny. It's more proof that they are awkward. And also he's pretty much finding out that Brad's going to get this shit, the golden boy. Yeah. Good looking white guy, nice hair, jawline, muscular, firm handshake, they say later on.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you match up to that? How does my clients stutters, stammers, Tourette's, anxiety, maybe queer identified, maybe super nerdy. Many of them, not all, but many of them have poor handshakes and poor like human contact, right? You put it out there and it's kind of like they don't either do it or it's just very limp noodle. I hate fucking shaking hands because my big ass, right? I always fuck it up. And I always get, everyone goes in super strong on me and then they crush me. Every fucking time. I should crush them. They end up crushing me.
I don't know how to handshake, man. You're supposed to go like that.
Yeah, I know. I got to shoot it in there. That's my thing is I don't ever shoot it in there. I don't even pay attention to it. Just like moving around looking for...
cradle the balls? What the fuck are you doing?
I'm just down there fondling instead of shooting it in. Wait a minute. Let's get out of this one.
Sexual history, anyways.
Let's get out of here.
Why won't I go in? Anyways.
Jesus Christ. That's why all my clients be like, handshake. I'm like, no, you're getting a fist bump.
Yeah.
You're getting a fist bump.
I mean, it's easy. It's easy.
It's so much easier to fist someone.
Also, fuck up. Jesus Christ. Also, when it comes to social interactions, especially when it comes to like, for me with guys, it's a lot easier to do it like either bump, handshake, or dap up. One of the two, right? But when it comes to like women, like my guys' girlfriends and stuff like that, that's a tough one for me. I usually try to do a fist bump. If they go in for a hug, I'll go in for a hug. But I'm not the first one to go in for a hug. You have to come in for the hug first. Me, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I'll either do a fist bump or I'll just do like a wave. Hi, how are you? Depends on which one. And I usually wait for them to move before I do. Because I don't want it to be awkward. And also, when it comes to like my friends, girlfriends, I'm like,
and as a dude, right, too, you got to know those boundaries. Same thing in the office, Spence. As a dude, you got to know your thing.
Yeah. And when it comes to the office, I'm just like, hi, nice to see you. I'm not going in for hugs and shit.
No hugs. Right. And it's just even some friends, you got to know how to maneuver certain things where you got to know your gender. You got to know your intersections and how they may be presented to others. It's like I told you, I got shit on and it is what it is. I told you like a month ago, I was told that one of the reasons why I didn't get one job is because I made a comment.
Right.
And I made a comment on someone's hair. I thought it was a very innocent thing. I saw them in a Zoom meeting in the interview. It looked like it was dirty brownish, right? Vibe, right? And then not dirty, but dirty brown. Or dirty blonde, I think it's called. Yeah, it was dirty. That was nasty. But you look like you smell like eucalyptus, you fucking hippie. She gave off a hippie vibe. I know. And then we met in person, right? And I'm talking, everyone's being nice. I said, oh, you look a little bit different than what I thought. And everyone just pauses, like, oh my God. I was like, what? This is fine. They're like, what do you mean by that? And I was like, well, you have red hair. And they're like, sexist. I'm like, oh, fuck me. So I got, that was one of the knocks on me, which is wild. Something so innocent. And I did fabulous with everyone else in the interview, the queer community, the trans community, the black community, but with this one white individual, I made a comment, right? And, you know, I maybe made some other inappropriate comments too about funny stuff about my people, my race. Because there was a lot of Hispanics there as well. But I guess I made this person uncomfortable. And where I came off like a dirtbag, and is what it is. The funny thing is, Spence, in this interview, the funniest thing is when we were going for a walk, the director literally farted 3 times on our walk, and I didn't say nothing. It's like, but I'm inappropriate, but he shit on me. Literally shit on me. And we're just playing it off. I'm like, could you stop tooting?
Stop it. I can smell what you ate last night.
I know, bro. It's horrible. I needed spinach. It's just interesting, man, these autistic situations and these idiosyncrasies and how to get along, how to play along, how to fit in, how to hold your hands. Me and Spence did a whole thing about hands during Talladega Nights, right? When like, what do I do with my... I don't know what to do. Yeah. And it's tough, man. Being normal and a human in a setting is tough.
No,
God,
it's like we say not to mask a lot, but you got to do it.
You got to do it in certain situations. You got to code switch. Yes.
Yeah, you have to.
Survival.
And it's unfortunate, but that's just the world we live in. And sometimes you have to like really close your mouth. Like there's so many times I just want to say some dumb shit either like in a meeting or just like in an interview. You just want to say some dumb shit. And like I'm just like, they can't see all of me. They can't see all of who I am, or else they'll not hire me.
This will be wrong.
But then but then the other way around is that then they don't see how charismatic you are. They don't see all the like
other
happy
sides
you can be, the other side of what you can be. It's like you don't have to be professional all the time. Like, and you don't want to come off as just being professional all the time because people don't want to work with somebody who's professional all the time. But then you have to find the middle.
I know.
And it just,
you know how many times I've been told like I come off like an asshole and arrogant and a know-it-all? I've been told so many times.
That's what they say they want all the time.
All the time. But this was at work. This is at just meeting new people. Like I'll go on like this meeting new people, this rant about something that I know of, and they're like, oh yeah, I hated you at first. I've heard that so many times. And like I get to know you and you're like the best human ever. Like what you hated was the autism, and then you fell in love with the autism.
Right.
Because you didn't like when I was saying my special interest or going off on a tangent. But then you see the humanity in me and you're like, oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of adults hate it. Oh my God. Pivot real quick. Spencer, I realized something's very true. People have been telling me this for years. I just recently got some clients that were younger. I got a 13-year-old boy. I definitely have the personality of a 13-year-old boy. It's been confirmed. I have the humor and personality of a 13-year-old boy because I've never gotten along better with a client my entire life than this 13-year-old boy.
I think we've known this for a long
time.
I think you're the only one that was holding out on. You're like, no.
I was like, I told him, I was like, do I need to start hanging out with 13-year-olds? He's like, no, you pervert. And I was like, valid.
Yeah. Might look a little weird. Grown ass bearded man. Hey kids, how you doing? Like, oh.
You like some chocolate?
You want Legos?
Why, yes.
Yes, I do.
Go figure. After all these years, I finally found my population. I've never aged out of like a middle school boy.
That's great. I'm happy for
that. Makes sense. I found it. I found my people.
I'm glad. They should be of age, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Talk about video games together. I'm like, are we best friends?
You want to play Fortnite?
You know?
I love the new skins.
I know. That was random. I'm sorry. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah. All right. In this next scene, Alan is talking to all of the partners because they are adjourning to see who is going to be the next partner.
Yes.
Obviously, it's going to be Brad. It's going to be fucking. It's always Brad. And so Alan goes off on this eloquent speech just about how no matter what, like, you're always coming to Jerry. He is a encyclopedia of law, and all you do is go to him whenever you need something. And he also brings up the fact that why is it that you're only thinking about money? Why is it the only thing that you're thinking about is having a salesperson instead of somebody who has all of this knowledge and who's been here for 15 years, and you're not even giving him a chance because he's not a social butterfly like good old Brad. And this scene is very relatable to a lot of people who feel like they, even though they put in so much work and so much time into a business, they don't get any type of recognition because they aren't friends with their bosses. They're not friends with their coworkers. They're not kissing ass and all of that, and they're not being salespeople. They're not trying to sell you anything. They're just there to do their fucking job. Like I said, it's very relatable to a lot of people. I know personal side, like when my mom works at the VA, and she's at that point where, like, she puts in all this work, all this time. She's great at what she does, and they still try to find ways to fucking take her down a peg because she is very outspoken, and she just says what's on her mind. What are you going to do? And so that makes it a very hostile work environment for people. And it doesn't make you want to stay there because you know they're using you, even though they try to act like they're not using you. And they try to act like they're doing you a favor for you being there. Even though you put in all that work, you put in all that time, you probably could do a lot better on your own, start your own business. But they're like, well, what are you going to do? If you leave, whatever, even though when they leave, they're going to feel it at the end of the day. And yeah.
It kind of reminds me, Spence, of like we talked about with last week's episode that everyone's going to hopefully watch with, forgot her name. Who was the lady last week, the psychologist? Ren Han? Was that it? Ren?
Yeah.
Okay, Ren Han, yeah. So she talked about that moral injury stuff and how people are using you, and then this imposter syndrome is making you work harder. Happens a lot with autistic folks, neurodivergent folks, ADHD folks, OCD, anxious folks, right? Those are neurodivergent too. Happens a lot with women, specifically women of color, right? A lot of the marginalized identities are going to be the ones that are being taken advantage of and overworked. And those are maybe most likely going to be the ones that are overlooked for certain positions because they don't fit that prestige or pedigree, the cookie cutter, right?
Yeah.
Your mom's talking and doing what she's doing. She's maybe saying stuff, right? She's trying to advocate, do her thing. It's a very common thing for a lot of folks. And so sometimes the people that play well with others, right? They're good kiss ass. They toe the line of being white and being woke. And then you're right, they're just in that margin. And there's a lot of my coworkers that all have been promoted. All the kiss asses recently, Spence, all promoted. They're all my boss now. All of them. Of course.
Yeah.
I'll be real with you. Most of them shit therapists. My boy's good, but the rest of them ain't good. Yeah. And you see a lot of these fuckers that aren't good at certain things, but they're good at smoozing. They're good at, playing the game. They keep getting promoted. And I was telling a client, it really sucks, man, when people that get promoted that aren't good at actually doing the job because they don't know how to build it and making sure that everyone's doing the job. It's like if a teacher's magnificent, but they don't get promoted, it ends up being someone else that's like wants to be an administrator, but isn't really good at the teaching. It really isn't good at patient healthcare. Really good, isn't good at being a therapist, but now you're the director of all the therapists. But you can tell that you're kind of like a shit one.
Yeah.
How do you navigate and make sure that you're meeting the needs of your clients, but also meeting the needs of your workers? And so we see this scene of Alan being like, what the fuck? And he goes into his office and he advocates.
Yeah.
He's like, I've always respected you as a decent woman, right? Like a decent, like, I don't like you, but you're decent.
Yeah.
And are you done? No, I got more to say. And this guy is legit awesome and deserves a fair shake. I really like him because he's talking about fairness. He's very black and white on this fairness thing. Multiple times throughout these clips, Spence, everyone's mentioned, I know you'll keep your word. I know you'll keep your word. Love that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that keep their word, but a lot of autistic folks, our word is going to be our bond. I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, motherfucker, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Trust is a big thing. And the stuff that he was saying, man, had me ready to cry in there, man, because I've been that person for years being used and abused.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm working hard, but I'm making a ton more money and like being affirmed and validated. And all I did was get used and abused everywhere else. It's wild. And then you have to sell yourself to get a 2% increase on your raise. And then you tell me I'm trash and you give other people 4% and I got a 1. I got a 1. I don't even want a 4. Just give me a 2.
Yeah.
And I told people, I said, you're going to take money from me. From me? When me and Spence were at St. Mary's together, they took $5,000 from me once. Said, yeah, we're not paying for this. Your old boss retired and, she ain't here to protect you. So we're taking this from you. Well, I said, no, this was hand shook on by the vice president and my boss. It's not right in the contract. Damn. Spence, you want to talk about blow up, which we're going to get into the next scene.
Yeah.
I blew up on the vice president over at St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck everyone in here. You going to take my money? I don't even make no money. You're going to take $5,000 from me? I'm stopping people from killing themselves? This is fucked up. We said in his ear, and they tried to get me to calm down, and I wanted to leave, and then they forced me to sit down, and then I blew up, slammed the door. I went full Sam Zark on him, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up calling my dad fucking shaking. I mean, I was shaking. I couldn't even touch the buttons on the fucking phone. I was like, damn, I'm about to get fired. He's like, it's okay, man. We're going to figure it out. I'm like, how the fuck we going to figure it out? I guess we're moving back to Michigan. He's like, we'll move back to Michigan. We'll fingerprint. We'll figure it out. We'll get a job with Sharon, your old boss. I'm like, all right. I had to sign this thing and reprimand and apologize and all that shit. And I never apologized. Never did. You're not taking $5,000 from me and then telling me that I'm wrong. Nope. So why do I say this? Some of us get pushed way too far. We get taken advantage of. And I'm very masculine. And if I can't advocate for myself and I'm getting taken advantage of, Spence, what do you think that's happened to everybody else?
Right.
What do you think that's happened to all the little teddy bear girls that I knew from St. Mary's, the ones that can't talk, that can't articulate, that have to use AI to send fucking emails? So this podcast, this character is very common. The more softer spoken, more internalized, very anxious, very scared, ostracized individual, very common. All my scientists that I work with now, some of the top scientists in America, Spence, are terrified to speak out and to ask for certain things. Some of it's a neurodivergence. A lot of it's just the trauma from life to make them quiet, reserved, insecure. My heart goes out to all the Jerrys out there. Me and Spence have been a Jerry at times. This next scene is wild. This was a very, very emotional scene with Alan. This next scene is wild, Spence. So I'm going to let Spence go ahead and take over.
Yeah. So Jerry finds out that he's not getting the position, right? And that Brad is getting partner. And so he's first he starts like freaking out in his office. Like, where's this? Where's this? Blah, 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 blah. And he just starts like pacing, and he's like, I'm done. I'm quitting. Because they don't respect me, and this is the last time I could actually be a partner. So fuck you. And so he goes out of the office and he sees that they're having a party for Brad. Very smart. Have the party in office. That was really smart of them after they knew that this fucking guy was not happy about it. And so they're having cake. Jerry picks up a knife. He looks at Shirley and he's just like, is this enough? Is this enough? Starts cutting the cake. And then he just fucking goes postal and grabs her and puts a knife on her throat. And while he's doing this, he's also building up his case and making sure that he's legally within his rights while he has Shirley by knife. And yeah, and then Crane tries to get his gun, can't get his gun. He knows exactly, like, because he's actually shot people in the office before.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he shot multiple people in the office. He actually got in trouble a few times. He's still part of it, which is hilarious because he has his name on the door.
Horrible behavior. Horrible behavior.
Doesn't get fired. Can't get fired because he is part of it, and he's also brings them a lot of money. And so Alan finds out about this, and he's like, "What are you doing? What's going on here? Why are you doing this?" And he just explains that he's been pushed too far. And Alan calms him down, has a very calming voice to make sure that he's also getting Jerry calm. And then he also makes sure that he is represented by Alan, or Alan represents him in his case, because he knows that he's gonna get him off, because I mean it's Alan Shore, of course he is. The fact that Alan doesn't look down on Jerry, even though he had an outburst like this, really goes to show his character and how much he cares for Jerry. Because he could easily just be like, whoa, that dude's crazy, done with this. But no, he knows that Jerry needs help, and he also knows that the predicament that the law office actually put him in for this to happen. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Jerry has to, he has to take accountability for his actions, right? Because you shouldn't be putting a knife to somebody's throat like that.
Unless they want it. I'm sorry. There's a kink thing.
Okay. Thank you for explaining it. Appreciate that. To all our viewers out there's a kink out there. If you put a blade to their throat, they get turned on. Just so you know.
Instant cum bucket.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Sorry.
Yeah. They also do it with other weapons, firearms and everything.
Wasn't that in Beef? The one girl beats off with the 9mm. I'm like, Jesus. Yeah.
People are weird. Let me tell you. don't kink shame. I'm going to.
Don't kink shame.
If you're gonna fucking blow your pussy out, I'm gonna kink shame you. Yeah. Sorry.
It's a little dangerous. A little dangerous.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Do your thing, girl, but a little dangerous. I like them black too, I guess.
Fucking herself with a Desert Eagle. Jesus Christ. Most powerful handgun in the world.
I got a Micro 9, so.
Jeez. Yeah. Nothing but 9mm here. I got 22, son.
I got one of them little BB guns.
22.
Oh, pivot.
But yeah, I like this scene.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because he doesn't look down on him, and then he also is. Even Shirley at the end of it was just like, wow, this is really good work. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, he's been here 15 years.
Yeah.
Now you realize, like, oh shit, he does very good work.
She's like, but now you see why we could never hire him. No.
Or you never promote him.
Never promote him. Yeah, I'm like, come, chill out. chill out.
Yeah,
He was never going to be
That's a
violent.
whole different thing.
Yeah,
it was never going to get to that point until you pushed him over the fucking edge.
You used him. You abused him.
Until and especially till the very fucking end. They could have waited for Brad like another year or whatever, another cycle, whatever they do.
Yeah.
They could have waited another cycle and just been like, you know what? You're a partner.
It's fine.
He doesn't even have to be a fucking like upfront partner. He could just be somebody in the background.
Yep.
And then just put Brad in there at some point.
Yep.
Like, you're gonna make money either way. Do you see how many fucking partners they had?
I saw it was like 100 or so. Yeah, it was a lot.
They'd be fine if they had one partner that was like
autistic, and like, well, let's be real. A bunch of them lawyers are autistic as shit. That's a different point for a different day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like let it ride. What's so wrong with it? It's wild, man. So obviously we don't condone, is what we always used to say, is like violence, a knife, or attempted murder. But the funny stuff aside, the way his mind works, and I need you to go get me this code, and boom, 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 boom. And then I need you to go get me this, boom, 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 boom. And then, hey, the hot secretary that kind of makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I was like, oh my God, I want to say that to so many people. I'm like, I don't like being in your office because you make me hot. you make my loin steam.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Make my 9mm go off.
Was that a 50 Cent song? I think so.
Hey.
Clickety clank, clickety clank. Someone hey go right to my piggy bank.
Jesus.
Bruh. His honesty and truthfulness and unmasked in that moment, minus the knife, was awesome. And then everyone's like, oh my God. And then one guy's like, this is really good legal work, right? And I'm like, shut up, you bitch.
You did great.
You did really good. You're really smart. And he's like fighting people. So it's amazing how his mind works. And obviously, I think he's got like one of those eidetic memories, or very eidetic like. So he's able to rapid recall, which is awesome. Some autistic folks have that. I use the word some because it's not many. Hell, I got just as many clients that completely forget everything as soon as they. My one client is like, you know what, Nas? We haven't met. We didn't meet the week before, and then we met this week. He's like, Nas, I don't even remember what you look like. I'm like, damn, dog, that kind of hurts. He's like, yeah, I just don't remember faces. I just remember like, oh, this dude always wears this shirt. This dude always wears this shirt.
Yeah, what's that called?
That facial dysplasia or some shit.
Yes.
Fantasia.
Like
this guy, he got Fantasia. That's a joke.
Yep, Fantasia 2000.
Yep, Fantasia. He got a black woman.
That's the best one. That's the best one.
It was the best one.
No, it was the fucking Disney Fantasia, not Fantasia American Idol.
Yeah, I was thinking Fantasia American Idol. There's a Disney Fantasia.
2000. That's around that time. No. It's Disney Fantasia.
I think it's Propatasia. But he goes, one guy at work, he's like, this guy worked on my fucking car. He's like, I knew this guy, but then the one time he doesn't wear the hat, which he always wears, we talked for like 20 minutes. I know who the fuck the guy was. And I was like, bruh.
I think they said Brad Pitt had that shit, but it's like, it's tough because like sometimes you feel like, do they just not want to talk to me, or like do they just want to be like, oh yeah, I have synesthesia or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And like, hey, yeah, I don't remember you. Like, motherfucker, you don't remember this? You don't remember my voice? Nothing.
Okay. My face. I had a couple clients at St. Mary's. I'm like, yeah, how do you guys like know it's me? And the one girl goes, because you walk funny. I was like, you bitch.
Waddle and shit.
Yeah,
like,
she's like, you little fatty. You're like my fat potato.
Okay, Jesus.
You little not need. When they all agreed on that, they're like, you do walk funny. I was like, all right, calm the fuck down, guys.
Like, why are we having this conversation?
You motherfuckers send you all to the glue factory because you can't get right.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. Throw back to life, can't get right, probably autistic. So great scene, traumatic scene. As Spencer was saying, like, I get it, him blowing up and being overwhelmed. I get it. I feel like a lot of you will get it. I feel like a lot of you have been in this situation with family members and friends where you can only take so much and then you kind of blow up. Most folks can't articulate themselves as good as he does. Most of us kind of white out or rage out, and then we kind of just completely decompensate afterwards, and we're just exhausted. That's normal. I think actually the two best scenes are. We'll get into the last two scenes. I know it's running long for a lot of stuff, but this is very good stuff. Last two scenes are magnificent. So let's knock these out.
All right. So for the next one, it's the next episode. After all this stuff happens, and they've been to court because obviously he's getting sued / they want to put him in prison for threatening Shirley. But later on, Alan and Jerry, they have this conversation during dinner, and Alan brings up that you need to have a defense somehow because you're going to lose. And so he brings up just having autism as a disability, as a defense. And so Jerry finds out that he has autism. And the thing is, though, is that Jerry does not want it to be on public record because then he'll be looked at as the lawyer who has autism or, a freak, a weirdo, all that stuff. He'll be looked at differently.
Yep.
Even though he's already looked at differently. But it's looked at as like he has a disability. That's the main point. He does not want to be looked at like he is disabled.
Yeah.
Which is very fair. Very fair. Especially back in 04, 05, when it's like, it's not how it looked today.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna just say what they're gonna think that this, and I'm sorry, but they're gonna think that because if he gets autism, that he's gonna be not intellectual or quote unquote retarded. And so they're not gonna want no one who's gonna hire me if I'm labeled this autistic guy. It's like, no, homie. You're a fucking magnificent lawyer and you're gonna win some cases. Yeah. This just helps you explain what things are, but like I get the fear, man. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's where we're at today, really, aren't we? Kind of went back on a lot of things, right?
We did.
We can't have these labels anymore, right? Although, I go back and forth with the labels thing because I think that labels shouldn't define who we are.
Mm-hmm.
They do have
their place.
They have their place, but then they are something that, yes, that's part of us, but that doesn't make us our whole identity. And I don't think that people should rely on just that as something and have it as kind of like a quote unquote a crutch.
Right? Or Spence, one of the dads I was talking to recently for a client said, right, they were labeled autistic or whatever, and then that was it. Like the other partner never decided to push them, just said, oh, it's fine, you're just disabled, you never do this. And the dad's like, no. Yes, they're autistic and they can do this and they can go to school and they can date if they want to. Yeah. So like the one family member I'm working with is like pushing the kids and they're succeeding and doing really cool shit.
Right. And if you need certain things, like if you need medication and things like that, that's fine. Yep. I have no problem with that. Like, yes, you should be taking your medication and you should be going to therapy and doing all these different things. Sure. But that doesn't mean that that's the only thing that you are. Correct. Just like how we say, you're not just black, you're not just white, you're not this identity as just that. You are other things.
Multiple
because
things.
Once you start putting yourself in a box, that's all you're going to see things from, in a box. Mm-hmm. That's it.
And autism's a very disabled box. That's right. And so if you're just like, that's all I am, no, you're not only autistic.
But also we shouldn't just not bring up these certain identities as well. We should be testing people for these things. We should be making sure that they get help if they need it or want it. And we should be going from there. We shouldn't be taking away these things because then you have situations where people can either get to where Jerry is, but on a whole different level because Jerry has all of the materials. He has all of these different things that he can fall back on, while other people don't have those things. They don't have all of those great things that they can fall back on. And so helping people out is not a bad thing. We should be helping people out when they need it or when they want it. And I think right now where we are, in just politics and stuff like that. It's not a great place for those who have these certain labels, because then they will be looked at like they are disabled.
Yep.
And they will be looked at as different.
They're being called disabled, right? And so that's what they're doing. And they're talking about registries and all this other shit. And we're going to take your information. And so now, you know, a lot of testing has been down. I've been hearing a lot of testing centers, the testing is down because a lot of people are scared. Eventually it'll go back up, right? It'll go because people, why? Because they have to get assessed for the medication, the occupational therapy, which we're getting to the next scene, the physical therapy, the behavior therapist, right? There's a lot that needs, and part of it starts with identification,
right?
AKA diagnosis. It's a crucial thing in our humanity to allow people to have better lives is access to healthcare. And so what Spencer was saying is, like, this white guy, he's got some privileges, right? Because his intelligence, this and that, right? Other folks ain't got that. And so we got to be able to diagnose people and assess people, because we got to help out these other babies that are relying on, you know, maybe Medicaid related, you know, services and all that. And so if we're making autism stuff or medication stuff harder to get to, well, now that fucks up a whole population. I agree with you. Also, you can be more than your label. Just like the dad told me the other day. You can fight out of that label and still identify with it, but then not be the prison.
Yeah.
I think
and
that's
like Jerry in this, though, in Jerry, he says it explains a lot of things.
It does. It should be freeing.
You're like, this helps so much. But then, you know,
society,
and then we see that what are they going to say about it? You know,
it's always society.
And especially if you're in like a red state and shit like that, like, you're going to have to hide who you are. And that's not what we want from people. We don't want to get to where we have to hide who we are in order for us to just live and get by and survive.
To earn money.
It's just, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, very good topic for today in the political realm, but also just it's kind of sad. And, you know, we've come a long ways in the community and neurodivergence and acceptance and affirming this. And the ADA law, you know, which was fought for by disabled people. I'm forgetting the year. I feel like it was 89 or 94, maybe 92. I forgot. I did a fucking paper on it. But it was wild. If people want to go back and see those scenes where people like were climbing up to the court, right, when they were voting on it, and it was disabled people crawling because the legs didn't work. Up. And then they finally passed the bill after hours and hours and hours and days and weeks of like fighting for this. A lot of people got rights now for disabilities, not just mental and cognitive, but also physical. You don't understand how important those things are, physical stuff, Spence, until you're like your family member, like my father's disabled, and you're like, holy shit. Like, bro, if there's one step, we're fucked. We're not going in. But I remember I took him to the chicken spot in Detroit that me and you've been to a couple of times, and there's no ramp. And so I had to pick him up, and I broke his rib. That fucker sat there throughout that entire dinner with a broken rib. Wild. Fucking G. Let's get into this last scene. And then we'll get out of here.
Yeah. So, you know, they have the trial for Jerry, and they have a sidebar, and Alan wants to dismiss the case because he knows that, like, now that they have the disability part of the trial, he's just like, it's a losing case for you. You're not going to win this if we say he has a disability. So just let it go. But they also don't know that Jerry's like, don't bring that up during the case. So he's playing it smooth, playing it sly. So really he's just explaining to them that he has autism and that he deserves to they should just let it go, because he's been through a lot.
Whole life.
Yeah, whole life, not only being undiagnosed for so long, which a lot of people were at that time, but also for the fact that they know they fucked him over at that law firm. They know. And so I get Shirley's point, kind of, her being like,
justice.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but also just
He
like,
could hurt others.
I don't want him to do that again.
Yep.
Right. How do we know he's going to do that? And of course, Alan brings up a great point of, well, now he wants to get better. He wants to get better. He wants to, there's medications, there's behavioral therapy. There are things that he can do to make sure that those outbursts don't happen again. Now that he has that autism diagnosis. And so, um, once again, Alan just coming in clutch and just being like, hey, just give him what's fair, not giving him special treatment, just giving him what's fair and what he's owed because he's done so much. And Shirley agrees. They dismiss the trial, and he's free to go. And so in the end, Jerry thanks Alan for saying that it's over and about to hug him. And he's like, nah, never mind. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to walk away because, awkward. He's but yeah, so what a few couple episodes. Also a big shout out to the writers and the people,
Yes.
Jerry, the guy who acted in it, because did a great job of showcasing autism, especially that early on, in just time.
Yep.
Because there were probably a few autistic characters that came out,
Yep.
but he was one of the few ones that was very depicted well.
And it's not like super like Rain Man-y, right?
No.
But it kind of is, but it isn't. But like the social skills are there, but they're not there. It's very well and cumbersome of what a lot of folks do look like on the autism spectrum. Not all, but
yes,
a lot of folks.
And also showing the dark times of who are
instead of just that playful stuff.
Yes, like we talked before in the pre-production, this love on the spectrum where they are like the quote unquote good autistics, where they they don't get into trouble, they don't do certain things, they aren't poor, they're high on the economic level, and they're pretty well off, and it's not a great light in my opinion. That's why I don't watch the show personally, because I just feel like they're handpicking out people who are autistic that are, like I said, quote unquote good,
The cute ones, the cuddly ones.
yes, and not showing the real side of autism all the time.
Yep.
And not giving a chance to have those people actually who are on a low economic level actually get the attention that they deserve and make sure that they can be advocated for also, and that they can be seen, because they're not seen right now, and they're especially in this climate.
Yeah, I know. A lot of white folks in there. A lot of white folks in there. Yeah, right. At first season, they had an Indian guy in there. There's an Asian girl in there, but it's a lot of the, the good minorities in there, right? It wasn't a lot of black folk or Hispanic folk. There was a lot of certain race in there. There's a lot of certain race in there. So
especially after all the shit that has happened with people who have autism, who are people of color that have been killed or injured by police officers and stuff like that, because they didn't understand that they were autistic and like they had certain needs and they had outbursts, and so they used force on them. And so I think it should be I think especially if you're going to have autism or on the spectrum on there, you should actually use your voice for advocacy and actually have people who don't have their voices heard as much on there. I understand it's like this cutesy love show and shit like that, but I'm also like, you know what, you're kind of using them for shit. So
I will give a shout out to a lot of them actually, though, to the actual people themselves. They've been really good and outspoken about a lot of stuff about the RFK stuff, which has been really cool. They didn't need to do that. And a couple of my favorites actually did do that. And I was like, hell yeah, this is my guy right here. So I love that a couple of them were very outspoken on their own public platforms.
Right.
Yeah. Because there's nothing against them, right? It's just who they pick,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to turn down, right? They're going to turn it down. My favorite guy is James. He's just so anxious, so much Tourette's. He's just overstimulated all the time. I fucking love that motherfucker. And his dad's always picking on him and tweaking him out. I fucking love that guy.
There you go.
Yeah, my favorite. But this good representation, good show to watch. I think a lot of you will identify what was going on with this. A lot of you will have some feelings about it. Some of you might tweak out about the meltdown, but the crash out and the meltdown is very common. It's very common that we see that. So as we get out of here, it reminds me of that one scene, Spence, that we did with the Autism Goes to College.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that Chicano boy, the Hispanic boy? He ends up freaking out and then, I'll fucking kill you.
Mm-hmm.
He freaked out, and then they end up getting medication, but then he had to get kicked out of school. And now he's doing really good. Mm-hmm. And the director, the guy that came on with us, right? He said, yeah, he's great. I still talk to him all the time. He's a great kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, he got fucked over on that test and a couple things happened and he tweaked out. It happens. We have meltdowns. It happens. Great stuff. I'm glad you stumbled back upon this. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad other people get to listen to us talk about it.
Yes. And if you haven't seen it, go watch Boston Legal.
Yeah.
Great show. James Spader always will be an all-time favorite for me. Because I just love his acting, and also he's fucking Ultron. So why not? Why fucking not? You know? And then also fucking Captain Kirk. I can't go wrong.
You can't, yeah.
And yeah, so they have a lot of great topics. So please go watch it on Hulu/Disney.
Yep.
Because it's on there right now. So go check it out. Yeah. Anything before we get out of here?
That's it, brother. Much appreciation to everyone that listens to us every week. I know we had some really good, awesome autism guests, which are getting a lot of traction in the podcast. So hopefully you continue to listen. Hopefully you continue to show up. We'll continue to do as much representation as we can.
All right. Awesome. Well, like we always do, I'm Spencer. That's Nas, Different Special Podcast.
All right, everyone. Much appreciation, much love, and remember, take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
It's completely up to you. Peace.